Yesterday, like many of you beautiful people, I was watching the Line 6 live stream where they announced their brand new flagship, the Helix Stadium and Helix Stadium XL, I guess they're called, which they will put out in autumn, winter time this year. And I would like to take a couple of minutes to give you my impression of that thing, although of course I haven't played it and I don't know that much except what they said in the video. Thing which most units are lacking nowadays is the user interface, and I think today people, they're expecting an interface which is intuitive to use. I personally didn't have any problems using units that didn't come with a touch screen, but which had a well thought UX, so that they were intuitive, that you could use them with just using the knobs. But of course, if you have an additional touch screen, it's way easier to operate in a live situation. And even the competitors on the low price segment, and they're coming nowadays with a touch screen. For example, you get the SonicKick Matrixbox 2 Pro for €260 currently, and it comes with the beautiful touch screen. Also the Hotone Ampero 2 Stage or the Hotone Ampero 2 series in general. But of all the high-end modeling units, there's only the quad Cortex that comes with a touch screen, and the Headrush Prime, which is not necessarily high-end as far as the price goes. But the other flagships, the Boss GT-100, the Helix, and even the Fractal Audio FX, AxeFx and FM9, they don't come with a touch screen. Very poor user interface on these, the Fractal Audio products in my opinion, and also on the Boss GT-100. And from what they showed in the video, the interface looks really stunning. So great colors, you got, well, different perspectives of amps, even better than on the Headrush Prime, which is still spot on as far as the user interface goes. So I think they did the right step by adding a proper user interface, and also they added the knobs, which maybe some people like to use to adjust the units, and also maybe the people who own the previous versions of the Helix, they are used to that, they may have the similar workflow. Another thing which is also very important, of course, is the sound, the effects and amp quality, and they mentioned that they have this new modeling technology, the Augora, I guess, as they call it. And from what I understood, they are measuring tubes and some of the signal flows which are affected by the tube circuit in analog gear, and they modeled it very similar like what Fractal is doing, as far as I know at least. So they are modeling the different components of amps, the capacitors and tubes and whatever. And for me, it's not that important how they do it, the result is important. And of course, if they could get more realistic feel and a better tone, then that should also be a huge upgrade for many people. And I think I don't own the Helix. I played it a couple of times, I think, but from my experience with some of the other units, which are around the €1,000 range, the Headrush Prime or the Boss GT-100, they sound great, but they still have something which makes them feel not that realistic, like or the response of the playing, it feels a little bit stiffer compared to the AxeFx or the newer DSP Cortex. And hopefully maybe they'll get that right with the new Helix version. It's nothing which bothers me a lot, but I can see the point that there are still competitors in the high-end price range, especially the Fractal Audios and the Mooer DSP, which were better than these units, the Helix version 1. So I hope they they step up quality-wise as far as the sound goes to the Fractal Audio products, and they have to, I think, given the price point which they want to get for that unit. And there are lots of features which they showed or which they addressed, which might be not that important for me. For example, they have this hype knob where they said you can turn the amp from a more authentic version to a more ideal version. If you would like to have it more, you want to have the little insufficiencies that the analog gear has. If you don't want that, if you want to have the perfect Marshall amp or the perfect whatever amp model you're using, you can use this hype knob. May work, but from my opinion, always when they added something like, for example, the chug parameter in the Headrush Prime, I personally couldn't use these parameters because they did something which maybe the company thinks people want, but some people, they don't want it, they don't appreciate the results. So I am a little bit skeptical of these new features, but of course they can work. And other things which they added, there were of course some things which may not be very helpful for the masses. For example, if you have a drum trigger input, you can route you have an output matrix where you can route different signals to different other gear. I don't know. I mean, it's a guitar signal where you're sending. You know, of course, you could send, I don't know, maybe your right signal to another speaker than the left signal and things like that. But other than that, I mean, how many signals you want to process? I want the unit to have a great guitar tone and not that much more. I don't even use these units for vocals. Other things which are nice features, like you can import maybe your songs and then use some kind of stem automation so that you can maybe filter out the guitar signal and play with that. It's nice to have that. Do I need it in a unit like the Fractal Audio Helix? I mean, I can do that in my DAW or something at home. I don't need it in a live situation, so I don't know if I would have to incorporate that in my floor unit. Another thing which they mentioned were these extension units which you could buy, and then you can get maybe 25 XLR outputs out of the unit or whatever. You can address 20 stomp boxes. I don't know if that is important for many people, but at least for me, it's with 12-foot switches, I would be ready to go for every live gig I could imagine. Pure amount of amps, so they said they have 16 amps as far as I remember and 6 bass amps, so that is really not a lot. Of course there will come new amps with later firmware updates, at least I guess so. But if you want to compete with a Fractal Audio unit that comes with 300 amp models, 16 is really not enough. And even the like the Sonic King Matrix box, I mean, I don't know how many amps that unit has, but it's way more than 16. And so that is definitely a downside for me. And I'm speaking from my experience as I got the Mooer DSP Quad Cortex, and it was brand new, and it was announced as the same quality like the Mooer DSP plugins. I was really disappointed with the result because it didn't feature the amps from the plugins. It didn't feature all the effects which you would expect if you're paying €1,800 and also the quality wasn't there. And it took, I think, 2 or 3 years till they got to that quality, like they can compete with Fractal. And I don't know. Of course, the Line 6 people, they have a long history of modeling units, but not in the top segment that they compare with Fractal Audio, in my opinion at least. And I think they want to do that now, compete with that. And yeah, then the unit has to be really good, and also it has to have everything which you can imagine, effect-wise, amp-wise. So 16 is really not a lot. And I don't know about the effects, but I think also here the mark that Fractal Audio sets is really high. Another thing I consider to be questionable, and that is maybe the most important thing, is the price point. I think they said the smaller unit, the Stadium, comes around $1,799 US, and the XL $2,199 US. And I don't know, I think that is without the tax, so maybe the euro price is similar or even higher, like with the Fractal Audio products. And man, that is a huge amount of money. So 2,200 euro for a floorboard that comes with, well, a touch screen, that comes with 12-foot switches and one pedal, and of course fancy features which maybe most of the people don't need, only because it's Line 6. I mean, you get the Headrush Prime, which is a floorboard that comes with 12-foot switches, that comes with a pedal, that comes with a kick-ass touch screen. Maybe not with all these fancy features that the Helix brings, but it's around 960 euro currently. It's less than half the price. Also, from my experience, I told you the story about the newer DSP called Cortex, but there was also the Fender Tone Master, which was a product which people claim to be not, well, quality-wise, not there. That they would pay maybe 1,600 euros. Because also they had the problem with few amp models, didn't sound great, it was buggy. And then there was the newer DSP called Cortex, the same price range. The Headrush Prime, even cheaper. And also the Helixes, the Mark 1s. So I don't think that they were selling much of these units, the Tone Master Pro, for 1,600 euros. Maybe only for the Fender geeks, but other than that, I think it's difficult. And also you have the competitors in the budget range, like the Hotone Amperos or the Sonic King Matribox. Sonic King Matribox about 260 euro, and the Sonic King Matribox can do a lot, sounds great, and I'm sure it can do everything which most of the people need. Also the Ampero, Hotone Ampero family, at least the Mark IIs, sound fantastic. They're even able to clone, and that is something which I'm really missing on the Helix Stadium. I mean, the unit itself, they did mention that it has the clone function. They said they will put out a software where you can clone your gear and then maybe load it on the Helix. Okay, maybe they will purchase money for that additional software, and even the cheaper units. Like I said, the Hotone Ampero, it's able to clone and it's working fantastic. Please check out my video about that. And also, of course, there are the free plugins, the newer amp modeler, where you can use well, the power of the cloud to create clones. So I don't know if that is a selling point really for something where you're paying 2,200 euros and then you say, well, you can buy an additional software, clone your gear and use the power of the cloud. Well, I mean, my free plugin can do that too. And so I think the price point is the biggest downside for that unit. If it would come around maybe 1,500 euros or 1,200 euros, I think more people would consider it, but here the price gap between the Headrush Prime, which looks and feels maybe similar at least. I don't know about the amp modeling quality. I'm sure the Helix is better there, I hope at least, because that is something where the Headrush Prime is lacking. But yeah, the price point. And also the Headrush Prime, of course, it can create amp clones, and then you can do pretty much everything and achieve every quality you like with that feature. So releasing a unit which cannot clone by itself, and well, it competes with the AxeFx, but it's obviously not there as far as the number of amps goes, and also I'm sure the effects quality, it will be really hard to achieve the effects quality of Fractal audio. I don't know, but personally I was thinking for a long time to get the Helix, and now that I saw their announcement, I think I will wait, and I'm pretty sure I will get my hands on one of these units, the Helix Stadium or the XL. Maybe I will save the money, and because I am willing to pay a lot of money for a good unit, but maybe my opinion can also change until it will come out. I think at least I will wait a couple of months after its release and then see how people are receiving the unit. So these were my 2 cents about that unit, and I'm really interested in how you think about a unit that price range, and yeah, well, their presentation in general. I think the presentation was spot on, and also I'm sure they know what they're doing because they're a very successful company, and they're also working together with Yamaha, which did also great products in the past or are still doing, like the THR. But yeah, so let me know in the comment section, and other than that, adios.